When your body will oppose. When every night for separate smartest intruding and nudist parties in studios.
Anything goes. Anything goes. Yeah. Hey, I played Reno Sweeney in that show. Did you know that? I did. Seriously.
I don't know who Reno Sweeney is.
The star of the show. That was her song.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I had the whole cast behind me. We were all lined up doing tap dancing together. There were like 30 of us tap dancing in unison. We had to go to tap dancing school to learn how to do it.
You know how to tap dance?
For the show I did, yeah.
I think some of your listeners would love to see you tap dance.
Oh, okay. Another day I'll show you how to tap dance. You see what it is? It's Indie Day. Yeah, because I'm back in the saddle again right here. Right here. Indy's here with me. Yeah. I mean, I had a great time at the beach. Don't get me wrong. It was gorgeous and wonderful and fabulous and all that stuff. But hey, it's no place like home. There's no place like home. And I'm so enjoying having a producer here who can help me with all this stuff in the morning. It's awesome. So listen, yesterday was Boost Your Business Day. No, Wednesday was Boost Your Business Day. And other than people who I'm directly related to, I don't think any of you jumped on that possibility, and I don't understand it. I did it because you were asking me if you could push your business to my people. And as soon as I said yes, you guys like went into the woodwork. I don't get it. We're going to probably do it a couple more times so you can like get used to the idea that, hey, we have a group of over 1,000 awesome people right at what do I say, what do I do? No, they're not all watching this video right now.
Maybe they're too busy working.
They are. They're getting their businesses going. But you need customers, right? Yeah. And speaking of needing customers, you know what I did this weekend?
What did you do?
It wasn't weekend. It was week. I get so confused.
Yeah, you're traveling.
Yes. When I was in LA,
Yeah.
I was actually there to have this like awesome Wednesday night, Tuesday night dinner. Remember I said I used to have Tuesday night dinner every week with the same people for like 20 years. We haven't done it in a while. So the last couple of times we've had like reunions, we've done it on Wednesdays for some reason. This week, my godson, Danny, my number one godson, was in town from Canada with his lovely new lady, Freddie, who's so adorable. And I chatted with her seriously all night long on Tuesday night. And on Wednesday morning, yesterday, I took the kids out to breakfast and my daughter went with us. And it was while we were sitting and having coffee and waiting for our food that Freddie said something about, well, she was French Canadian and in her house, everybody spoke French and she just learned English like 3 years ago. Seriously, she speaks French fluently as her first language. And when she speaks English, you would swear that was you would swear that was her first language. She's like so good at it. It's amazing. Today is Balloons to Heaven Day. You know, I was in the balloon business for like 35 years or something like that. Yeah. Balloons. And we did some very strange things with balloons. But Indy, you were about to hear the strangest thing I ever did with balloons.
Balloonatic, was that a different company?
No, I was a balloonatic. I coined the phrase, I'm a balloonatic.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
And then afterwards, see, when I went into that business, there were no other balloon companies. There was Balloons Over America, and there was the Red Balloon. And Balloon Affair, a Balloon Express. That was my first company. And that was it. And I coined the phrase, I'm a balloonatic. And then when I'd go in and deliver balloons, I would throw a handful of balloons and I'd say, okay, this is X-rated. If your children are watching, you might want to cover their ears. I would throw balloons and I would say, give yourself a blowjob.
Oh, job of blowing up balloons.
Yes.
Yeah.
And on the side of my trucks, it said, celebrate with a touch of gas. Yeah. And it said, oh my, we had some really,
Touch of gas instead of touch of glass. I get it. Okay.
touch of gas. And let's see, there was, no one gives a better blow job than Benny Goodman. I told the Benny Goodman story, and that's what I wrote on each one of his balloons.
Oh.
He loved them. He deflated them and he took them home to show his wife. Seriously. Oh, I've got more balloon stories and you'd want to. Anyway, so this was the weird job that I was going to tell you about.
Okay.
I couldn't send one of my employees out to do it because it was too bizarre. I had to do it myself. So I did. I actually was asked to do white balloons at a funeral. Now, a few times we did releases of white balloons, you know, balloons into heaven, literally.
Okay.
But this one was a wake.
Wow.
I mean, not a wake, it was a wake. And they asked if I would please come in and decorate the funeral. What do you call that room where they have the body?
The parlor.
The parlor. If I would please decorate the parlor with white balloons. So I said yes. It was open casket. And my job was to go in and let 100 white balloons with pretty white ribbons loose on the ceiling. So I figured, okay, I can do this. I can do this. I can just go in, release 100 balloons. I did not know it was going to be open casket. I was not prepared to see a dead body, but I figured as a big girl, I could handle it. But here's the but. This was so... Oh my God, it would have been the best episode of what was that show? 6 Feet Under. Would have been the best opening for 6 Feet Under. While I was decorating the parlor, one of the balloons popped.
Uh-oh.
And it landed on the dead person's face.
Ah.
And I had to remove the balloon from the dead person's face.
Did you have to crawl up into the casket?
No, I could just reach in and I had to touch the dead person. And it was like...
Didn't get stuck on their
Oh.
nose or anything?
Do you remember 6 Feet Under, the show?
You mentioned, no, I never watched it, I don't think.
Oh my God. Please tell me you all remember 6 Feet Under. I mean, it was one of my favorite series of all times. It was like...
Sitcom about dead people?
It wasn't a sitcom. It wasn't a comedy. But there were moments of very, very sick humor in it. Very sick humor. Very sick humor. And always the opening scene was somebody dying. Always. Like every week, somebody died, and then the story would begin.
Huh.
And it was like, seriously, it was this huge honor in Hollywood to get to be the person who died on 6 Feet Under. You guys, if you've never seen it, you really should watch it.
Like a murder mystery? Was it that one?
Well, they did talk about the person who died, but it wasn't really a mystery. It was, you got to know all the people in the family who ran this mortuary.
Oh, it was a mortuary story.
Yeah, it was more like that. Okay, but wait, there's more.
My sister was a mortician for a while.
Was she really? My goddaughter
Yeah.
became a I don't know if she was a mortician or she was just like selling spots. You know, I'm not really sure. I should check. Plots, spots, whatever.
Yeah, plots.
Anyway, it was a big deal in Hollywood to get to be the dead body at the beginning of the show.
Seemed like an easy enough role.
Yeah, except it was very coveted. It was a very coveted role. And my BFF from high school, Auntie Lolo, Lori was a dead body on 6 Feet Under.
Did she look like some celebrity?
She was a celebrity. She was an actress.
Oh, she played her. I thought maybe they had.
Oh no, she played a person. I mean, they're like.
So was she a dead ringer for that person?
Ba-dum-bum. We gotta get a bell. I got a bell. I'm gonna get a bell. That's it. We're gonna use a bell. All right, let's move on. It's also International Beer Day.
Oh, good Lord.
My guy right here,
International Beer Day.
Indy, he's an IPA drinker.
Well, yeah.
Now, when I go to the store and I bring home beer for Indy, I always buy the same kind.
Yeah.
It's an IPA.
Well, it's like coffee mugs. You have a different coffee mug every day?
I do.
Same one every day.
He does. Look at this. Same mug every day.
It's the
Doesn't that
perfect
seem
mug.
like a waste of mugs?
No.
I don't know.
Once you find out what's right, there you go.
No. I like
By
variety.
the way, what is an IPA? I heard you mention that yesterday.
Yes,
on Coffee
okay.
Talk.
So an
here
IPA,
to
I
tell you
looked
if
it
you
up
want.
because
Okay.
I wanted to find out because I had a feeling you were going to ask me. So IPA stands for India Pale Ale.
Correct.
Do you know why it's called India? Because it's not from India.
I believe I do, but I'll let you tell it.
Okay,
I'll correct you if you're wrong.
It seems like in the old days, they were making this brew in England, this beer, and they wanted to get it all over the world. So when you have a heavy liquid that you want to get all over the place, you send it by boat because that's the cheapest way to do it. But it needs to last a long time. So you put extra hops in it.
Yes.
And it's all this hop. It has nothing to do with India. Except maybe you could ship it to India.
No, it was the trading routes to India and the long sailing trips to India
that
required them to have a beer that would last longer, and so they found the hoppier beer would last longer.
Aren't you impressed that I looked it up and found it out before he had to tell me? I'm so proud of myself
English,
right
they do
now.
such funny things.
They're terribly proper, aren't they?
I remember all the sailors, ran on beer. There was beer and there was whiskey. Beer
but they didn't call it beer. They called it ale, right? Isn't that the same thing?
Names for it. Ale was one type of
yeah.
beer, yeah.
I remember I was in England
Stout.
once.
Stout is different than ale.
I was in England and I was at a pub, not a bar. I was at a pub. And I was not a big drinker at all, but we met all these people at this pub who knew somebody we knew. And the next thing you know, it's like a big party in there. And everybody was buying me not pints. They sell it in pints, but I found out where the term half pint comes from.
Oh, they give you half pint.
Yeah, if you're little, you're called half pint. They kept giving me half pints because I was so little. But 2 half pints equals a whole pint, and I got schnockered. Oh, did I ever? And then laughed all the way back to my hotel because they have all these roundabouts and signs that say "Don't drink drive." Seriously, that's what they call it, drink driving. I was drink passengering and laughing my butt off. Anyway, what else is today? It's Fresh Breath Day. Woohoo! How can you drink coffee and have fresh breath? Unless it's fresh coffee, I guess, right? Dun. It's National Gossip Day. But I have a request.
That's what I heard.
That's what you heard. Instead of gossiping, I have a challenge for you. See if you can go the whole day, one whole day, just one day without gossiping. And gossiping, I'm going to call talking about someone who is not there to defend themselves. Okay? No gossip one day. See if you can do it. Report back. I would love to hear if this worked for you.
When you say defend yourself, it suggests that you're saying something that would be mean about a person. Can I talk about someone and say wonderful things about them?
Yeah, that wouldn't really be gossiping unless of course, what you're saying isn't true. Because usually it's salacious. Usually gossip is salacious. Isn't that a great word? Don't you wish you said it before I did? So you, yeah, it is. It's also root beer float day. I never had a root beer float. I'm not going to lie to you. But I always had, because a root beer float was called a black cow.
Or a brown cow.
No, a brown cow I've had. Brown cows were with Coke instead of root beer. And I used to have Coke floats.
Sure.
And that was a brown cow, black cow. No, a brown cow. Black was root beer. Brown cow. Water balloon day. Okay, come on, seriously. Do you remember those days in the summer when you'd get a whole bag of those?
Going back to the balloons, release balloons to heaven day.
Yeah.
I tell everybody don't do that these days, not the Mylar balloons. Big problem.
I know. Mylar balloons are a problem. Yes, they conduct electricity. They get stuck in the power lines. I remember when Mylar balloons came out, that was like huge, but people were still letting them go. They still, every once in a while.
Up in the high desert, the problem is they do all that and they let them go and they get into wildlife. And so it's a wildlife problem more than they like. They come down somewhere and then they're litter in the wild. So.
And apparently latex balloons sometimes can, depending on the kind of latex, because most balloons are biodegradable. But if they land in the ocean and they land there before they degrade, then the fish eat them. You got to be really careful
Mylar
with
takes
balloons.
a long time to degrade, so when they go out in the environment, they're there.
Yeah,
forever.
a mylar balloon is forever. Yeah. We used to say when you had mylar balloons, when people would say how long do they last, especially those big ones, and I would say when the balloon goes down, it's time to give away all your belongings.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's the end time.
That's the end. Yeah, you're done. It's Tomboy Tools Day. I'm sorry, I cannot celebrate this holiday. It's all pink tools. I think that's degrading and humiliating to think just because I'm a girl, I need pink tools. I love pink, don't get me wrong. But somehow it seems like a backhanded I don't like it. I'm sorry, I don't like it. I can hit a nail with the best of them. In fact, I used to teach hammers and nails. Do you know that? I used to teach hammers and nails to children, and we used to do projects. I love that. I love building things. I do. My daddy used to build things with me.
Did he have pink tools?
No. Somebody, when I first moved into my first house where it was just me, bought me a whole set of these tools where the handles were these beautiful enameled, like paintings almost.
Barbie set with gun.
I'm just not if I had a hammer, I had a hammer in the morning, I had a hammer in the evening, all over my house. Do you know what else it is?
What?
It is Wiggle Your Toes Day.
No.
Have you ever heard me talk about wiggling toes?
No.
Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, this will be the best advice you get today. You know how everybody says, all right, come on, get present. Come on, wake up. Come on, be here now. Everybody's always talking about that, right? Wiggling your toes is the most powerful way to make yourself present. Have you ever been in a meeting and you start to drift off because you're not really interested in what's going on?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Okay. You're sitting with your boss and your boss is going, yeah, 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 and you're not even listening anymore. And then you get nervous because you lost what he was talking about or she was talking about. If you need to get present for any reason, wiggle your toes.
I find it helps when I have to go pee and I have to wait.
Yeah, that works too. Seriously, It is almost impossible for you to be unconscious and wiggle your toes at the same time. When you wiggle your toes, it brings you right back into the moment. Try it. I'm telling you, it works. It's awesome. It's awesome.
The Tomboy Tools Day?
Yeah.
I saw this picture this morning I wanted to share with you. Are these Tomboy Tools? This is a doctor set. But you notice what else is in the doctor set? Everything
is blue in this doctor set. Do you notice that?
No, but look a little closer.
And that's the only thing that has pink on it, and it's a gun with darts that are pink.
There's a girl doctor on the top.
And there's a girl doctor saying, why the heck did you give me all blue tools? I'm going to take my pink gun and I'm going to have my way with you. Ba-bam! And speaking of women, in 1926, a 17-year-old girl swam the English Channel. First young girl to do that. And she beat all the men's records by 2 hours.
She's probably trying to get away from him.
I don't know. All I know is then in 2000 what? No, in 1979, a 12-year-old boy swam the English Channel. A 12-year-old boy swam the English Channel. I can't even swim the length of a swimming pool. Did you know that the year I graduated from high school, because we had a pool at our school and we lived near the beach, California had this law that you couldn't graduate from high school unless you could swim the length of a pool.
I thought you had to be able to surf under the pier.
Well, you had to be able to surf too, but that's a given. Everybody could surf. Seriously, in order to graduate from high school, it didn't matter that I was an A student, right? I had to be able to swim the length of the pool. And guess what? I couldn't. I'm afraid of water. I don't like it. And they finally made an exception in my part. And all I had to do was float the width of the pool. Seriously, that's how I graduated.
So they're looking for lifeguards at the local pool here in Palm Desert.
I want you to do that. I think, wouldn't it be so cute to have your guy up there on that chair going, "Hi, honey, go save somebody today." I had to get saved once by a lifeguard.
Oh,
Yeah.
No.
Denny, the lifeguard. He was beautiful.
Yeah, did you do it on purpose?
No, I didn't. I was in 6th grade and I was at the local neighborhood pool, which was just like a block away from my Auntie Lou's house. And I was with all my friends and we were in the big pool, except I was holding on to the side because I didn't know how to swim. All I knew how to do was float, right? And my friends were all jumping off the diving board, the low dive, not the high dive. They were jumping off and they said, "You can do this. It's easy. You just jump off, you go down, but the water pops you right back up and you can just float to the side." So they convinced me it was easy and I could do it and they were all doing it. So I jumped off the diving board and I went down just like they told me, but I didn't come up like they told me.
Oh.
And I panicked. And the lifeguard had to jump in and do that thing where they grab you by the neck and pull you to the side and get you out of the water. And then they took me to the office and they threw me out of the pool for the rest of the day. I was humiliated.
I'm not sure they were throwing you out. They probably wanted you to get some.
I know I was humiliated. I was so embarrassed. Do you know what I did?
You decided you didn't like water anymore.
I went to my aunt's house and I hid in her garage for the entire day. Do you know where I hid?
Where?
I was really little. I hid in a trash can.
Oh, no.
I hid in the trash can all day long. I was so humiliated and embarrassed. Yeah.
Sunk like a stone.
Yeah. Just I went down just like they said I would. But they said I'd pop right back up and I could float and I didn't.
You have to take a big breath of air before you go, and then when your lungs are
Marlene, yay, how wonderful to see you. Sparkles. Woo! Yeah. Okay, so that was my my swimming story. Alfred Lord Tennyson, the poet. It's his birthday. I have no idea what poetry he wrote.
Shall I indulge you?
Yes, would you? Okay, wait a minute. This is our poetry moment with
I'll read
Indy.
a little of the poetry, but you don't have to point it
No,
out.
I want them to see you.
Half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death. Rode the 600. Forward, the light brigade. Charge for the guns, he said. Into the valley of death rode the 600. Not though the soldiers knew someone had blundered. Theirs not to make reply, theirs not to reason why, theirs but to do and die.
Get out of here! Stop! That's where we got. It's
Into
ours.
the
Is
valley of death rode the 600. Yes, it was a failed during the Crimean War. It was a failed battle. The English lost against the Russian, and all 600 were killed. And that was
ours is not to wonder why. Ours is to reason why. Ours is just to do or die.
Not or die and die.
And die.
I worked with a couple of guys that were orderlies that were post-Vietnam vets, and this was this one guy's favorite poem. He made a point of saying, "No, it's not and or die."
I always thought it was do or die.
No, it's do and die because every one of them had to charge into the guns and die. So ours is not to reason why, but to do and die.
I kind of like the other version of it a little bit better. I'm not gonna lie. Whoa.
Of course, the other thing he was fond of saying was, "I'd love to travel to exotic lands and meet interesting people and kill them."
Oh,
Ain't
war fun?
Yeah,
baby. Woo. Woo. It's also the birthday of the guy who discovered penicillin, and Lucille Ball. I love Lucy's birthdays today, and Robert Mitchum. I think I shared the Robert Mitchum story where my mother was at an airport, and my mom and dad went into the bar, I guess, to have cup of coffee or a drink or something before their plane took off. And Robert Mitchum was at the bar drinking heavily. And my mother somehow walked over to the bar and he took the bottle and offered her a drink. And there's my mother, my sweet little Fritzy, who didn't hardly drink at all, takes the bottle from Robert Mitchum, tilts it back and takes a chug out of his bottle. Ta-da, that was her claim to fame.
Do you know what year he was born?
I'm going to guess he was around my parents' age. So I'm going to say 1920.
Close.
How close?
1917.
1917. Oh,
Yeah.
he was quite a bit older than Fritzy.
Do you know when he died?
Um,
Do, 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 do,
1998.
Oh, so close.
1997.
Wow, how'd you do that?
I didn't. I just guessed.
Oh, good
I
guess.
just
There you
guessed.
go.
Good guess.
Yeah.
Bye, Robert Mitchum. We'll miss you. Woohoo!
He was a handsome fellow, wasn't
Yes, he was a handsome fellow. Andy Warhol's birthday. But you know who else's birthday that I really do care about?
he? Oh, who?
Soleil Moon Frye.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know who she was?
Wasn't she Frank Zappa's daughter?
I don't think so. No, she was Punky Brewster on television.
Oh, that's right.
She was Punky Brewster.
Oh, yeah. Zappa's daughter was Moon Unit Zappa.
Moon Unit Zappa, right. And this was Soleil Moon Frye. Anyway, she was Punky Brewster. And my daughter at that age, she's like the same age as Donnie or like a year difference, looked just like Punky Brewster. So we used to call Donnie Punky all the time. Yeah. In fact, I've got a picture somewhere. I should see if Donnie has it, where she did her hair the way Punky Brewster wore her hair, and you swear you were looking at Punky Brewster. That was fun.
Is she still around?
I don't know. Could you check that for me? I mean, she'd only be like in her 40s, but I don't know what she's doing. I haven't heard from her in a long time. We hardly ever talk anymore. Go figure. This is the day that the Americans dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. I always thought it was Hiroshima, but then I heard a Japanese man call it Hiroshima. Hiroshima.
Arigato.
Thank you. Do you know how many people were killed by that bomb?
Oh, in Hiroshima, in the hundreds of thousands, wasn't it?
No, it was 70,000. But
70,000.
like,
Close
come
to
on,
100,000.
seriously,
Yeah.
70,000 people, and it destroyed almost the entire city.
Oh, and left the devastation of people for
Ridiculous, ridiculous, ridiculous. Yeah, that was all about getting the war to end sooner. Yeah, the war will end sooner if you kill everybody. Okay, we need to talk about something happier.
So when was Punky born?
Well, I'm going to guess it had to be around 75, 76. 76. There you go,
Yeah,
Donnie. Well, but that's not fair because I knew she was about Donnie's age, and Donnie was born in 75.
Do you know where Glendora is?
Glendora, California. Yeah, it's up in the lower hills.
Oh, that's where she was from.
Oh, she was a LA girl.
That's right.
She was a LA kid.
Valley girl.
Hey,
She went to San Fernando Valley Professional School.
I bet she did. 1960.
She's just 44 now.
Where were you in 1960?
Oh boy. I would have been 8 years old, and
Baby, baby, baby. I'm with a younger man. What can I say?
Yeah, well, I was at home. What do you mean? Where was I?
Well, I'll tell you where I was. I was watching TV. I was watching American Bandstand. You know why?
Why?
Because today in 1960, Chubby Checker introduced the twist. We're going to do the twist, and it goes like this. Yeah, I was an expert twister. I was. My boyfriend and I in 7th grade, we won the twist contest.
Well, you were tap dancing too. So.
No, I didn't tap dance till much later.
Oh, okay.
Dun 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 dun. Anything goes. All right, this is the really big one today. You ready? 1989. Oh, Calcutta shocked the world. 1989. Oh, Calcutta. The entire cast was entirely nude for this entire show. And it was considered shocking. But obviously it was also very enticing because there were 5,959 shows on Broadway.
How many did you go to?
17, but you know, who's counting?
How many shows you got?
How many shows you got? But wait, I printed this out because I love this quote. You know, Shelly Winters, the actress,
right.
who, by the way, my favorite role that she did a lot of very serious roles. My favorite was she played the baddest of the bad guys in Pete's Dragon. She was the bad guy in Pete's Dragon. She was also the one who drowned in the Titanic. She went down in the Titanic. Okay, so actress Shelly Winters, like big deal actress. She performed on stage and in films for more than 60 years. And this is what she said. I'm guessing it had something to do with Oh, Calcutta. I think I'm going to pretend I'm an old lady now. I think on-stage nudity is disgusting, shameful, and damaging to all things American. But if I were 22 with a great body, it would be artistic, tasteful, patriotic, and a progressive religious experience. Anything goes. I'll tap dance for you another time. Oh, I love that song. All right, let's move on. Let's move on quickly to the word art for today because it's Indies. I stole it from him. I love this line. The problem with doing nothing is that you can't stop to take a break.
That's what's always kept me from being lazy.
Yeah, I guess so. So
Stop.
Don't- take a break.
Yeah.
Have a sip. Wait a minute.
And then don't do nothing.
Wait a minute. Have a sip
And a smile. There you go.
and a smile. Happy Indie Day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. Bye, Marlene. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye, y'all.